Yo, welcome back everybody. I hope you guys are doing well as always. Today I'm going to be breaking down a beat I made for OSAMASON. This beat is inspired by his last album, PSYKOTIC. And to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what it's going to sound like, I'm going to play it right now. So yeah, definitely inspired by his last album, PSYKOTIC. You can really tell it's got that distorted, grungy kind of feel to it. So without further ado, let's just hop right into FL and I'm gonna show you guys how I made it. So the melody is actually fairly simple as far as like amount of MIDI patterns and stuff goes. I only used a couple MIDI patterns. They're just layered a bunch, and then I added like a ton of effects to them that make them sound like really distorted and kind of glitchy. And then the drums are really like the part that kind of carries everything and makes it like just super crazy. So this first sound we got is from me and Noah's infrared Serum bank, and I used the key Lil O preset. This is what the MIDI is looking like. We're working in C minor, and really you can see that I just built these C minor chords and then really just only used those notes and just like arpeggiated them a ton. And then the only extra note I added was this A sharp. And then before I play that, I'll show you guys the effects that are on it. We have this shaper box preset on it, and all I did was turn off the drive. This is a stock preset in Shaperbox, so anybody can use this one. It's not from like a kit or anything. And then I also just added a EQ to cut the lows out. So with those two effects, we end up with this. So you can hear a little bit of that Serum preset coming through. I just turned down the mix of the shaper box to like 75%, just so a little bit of that melody comes through. It's not just like 100% of the effect. So this next sound we got is coming from Veil on Me, his Serum Bank 2, and it's the SY art style. SY just means synth, but this was the pattern that I laid down. As you can see, it holds a lot of the similar notes as the other MIDI. I just kind of cut out a couple at these little sections here. On this one, all we have is an EQ to cut the lows out. And the next sound we're gonna be in Serum again. This is the High Wraith Serum Bank by Sunboy and Cray. And I used the I Still Ain't Got It lead. And pattern wise, I just kind of wanted to go for some kind of like different ARP. I still kind of used the same notes, just kind of rearranged them into a different ARP pattern. On this one, all we have is some EQ that's just gonna cut the lows out. And next thing I added was another Serum. This is from, again, me and Noah's infrared Serum bank. This is the Beautiful lead. And I wanted to use this as kind of like a sparse accent note that just kind of gives the beat a little bit of ambience, so it's not just all super harsh tones. On that one, we have this reverb with these settings, and then I have another EQ to boost a little bit of the mid highs and then cut the lows. All right, so for this next sound, we're in Serum again, and I got this Lightwork Pluck from A Shark Serum is Dead bank. And what I did is I layered it with the original MIDI. So then after I got that, I rendered it out into an audio file. And then what I basically did is I time stretched it like in half, so it's gonna play at double speed. And then what I did is I linked that to a channel and then added this drill guitar preset from EFX Motions. And I also added some halftime, so it's kind of playing like it originally was, except it just has like a different sort of tone to it after you manipulate the sample. And then we have this EQ that cuts the lows out. And then we have another reverb. So with all of those effects, you end up getting something like this. And so this was something that I wanted to add as kind of like a switch up to the second section. So it only plays in like what I guess would be the verse. And then last thing I added was the bass. And this is just a regular bass from one of Aiden's Serum banks, but it's like rendered out as a one shot. It's this high roller bass. And this is the pattern I laid down, just pretty much keeping it on the root note, and then added these little like transition notes. And I really only use that for the transition back into the hooks. So yeah, that's the whole melody. And then I can play you guys a little preview here. All right, so now we can move on over to the drums. Like I said at the beginning of the video, these drums are kind of like what carry the whole like feel of the beat. Just they're like super aggressive and kind of like harsh metallic sounding drums. They are all coming from the new Ginseng Trauma drum kit. This kit is crazy if you guys want to make these kind of beats. I'll definitely leave a link to it in the description. And this is like not sponsored or whatsoever, but I just think this kit is really, really good. So I'll leave it down there if you guys want to go check it out. All right, so these are all of the drum sounds for the beat. I have 10 different samples and then one like little effects thing I used as a transition. So the first thing we got is the clap. Like I said, super like metallic sounding drums. Then we got the hi-hat. This is the spirit hi-hat. So then the next thing we got is this scene breaker kit. And I usually don't really use kicks in my beats, but I figured this one kind of sounded crazy. And with the pattern I used, it just kind of accented like that chaotic feel. Then we got this open hat. This is the amplifier open hat. Then we got this snare. This is the AOI snare. Then we got our first little like effects thing. This is the fadeaway effects. And then we got another little effects here. This is the mirror effect. Then we got another snare, and this one just plays at the end of every 4 bars. All right, and then the last 3 things are the 2 808s and then this little effects. I'll do the 808s first, and this first one we have is the Void Girl 808. And if you guys listen to that OSAMASON album, you can hear a lot of the 808s in there almost have this like weird like pitch bending automation to them. And this Ginseng kit is full of these kind of 808s. So definitely if you're trying to make that sound, another just great reason to get this kit. Crazy 808s. And then for the verse, I just switched it up into this other 808, and that one plays without the kick, so I'll turn that one off. And this is the MIDI Fighter 808. And then like I said, I just added this little like effects thing at the end to transition from the hook to the verse. And as you can hear, I put some delay on that, just Fruity Delay 3. All I did was set this to 1/8 triplet or 1/4 triplet. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So you can definitely hear the theme for these drums, like just make them as chaotic as possible, just like weird samples, weird 808s, and you'll pretty much get the sound down. So like I said before about the arrangement, I have pretty much all of the drums with that first 808 and the kick playing at this first section. And then as it would like transition into a verse, I use that little effect here. and then reintroduced these drums, but switched out the 808 and took the kick away. And that plays for the whole verse. And then I have this little bridge here with no drums, and that has the bass in it, and then no drums, like I said. So everything just kind of transitions back into that like this little like section here. Yeah, that's it for this beat. Let me know if you guys like this one. Let me know if you were also a fan of that OSAMASON album. There were a couple songs on there I really liked. I think it's just an interesting sound. I think I'd like to hear him maybe evolve a little bit more into the less like just insanely chaotic beats that, you know, are like ear piercing and whatever. But I feel like that's just kind of like ran its course through the underground by now. And I'm just excited to hear some like new sounds come through. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, join the Discord, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.